Now, basically, if you've had a hectic day today and you've spent the whole day in your office or at your workplace, or you're traveling or whatever, and then you watch this video and you're like, oh my god, I've missed this Lionsgate portal and the spiritual energies transmission that was happening, then what I would like to tell you is, this is going to be, the portal is going to be open for at least a week. All right. So if you can find a day off over the weekend, then it's okay. These energies are not going anywhere at the moment. They are here for us. Basically, this portal is opening for us to walk through. The spiritual beings, the cosmos is helping us in our own spiritual transformation. So it's not that if you're busy today, you can, and you have some time off tomorrow in the evening after work or after you finish all the chores of the day, then you can even do it tomorrow. Basically, just wanted to let you know this, that these energies are going to be very potent, at least for a week. They're not going to go anywhere, but still, we have this 1 week time frame to breathe in and imbibe these energies, uh, allow them to lodge fully in our cellular memory, in our DNA, and help them to activate our DNAs, to a higher level. And also these energies of ascension, so really get connected to our higher selves, our Christ, our Buddha self, our Christ spark, our own divinity, the God within. So the I am aspect, the monad aspect of us. So these are the energies which we can imbibe in and focus on during these coming 7 days starting today. And they're going to help us ascend and elevate our consciousness to a higher level, basically connecting us to our higher selves and bringing us more peace and light. And for spiritual practitioners, we can expect a lot of transformations. Now, I've been talking a lot about transformation, so in this part of the in this segment of this video, um, basically this video is like a live video. I'm not going to edit it. I'm just speaking to you the way I speak. And so it's going to be unedited uncut version that you're going to get. So what's the transformation that I'm talking about? What are the changes we can expect? Now, depending on where we are on a journey, okay, not every being is on the same journey. We are all unique, we are all sparks of light, but we are different in our graph of spiritual ascension, evolution, based on our past life karmic patterns, based on our practice, our sadhana in this particular lifetime. So depending on the growth of your soul, depending on the readiness of your soul and where you are at this time, at this moment, some of the transformations that you may expect are, um, I'm getting relationships, okay? That's relationship has been a big theme for me since July, and even now I think it's going to be a big theme. I've taught a very new workshop recently called harmonizing relationships, and it was extremely well received. And I think relationships is going to be a theme for conscious travelers, and we are going to walk through this portal, getting ready to meet our twin flames, so to speak. It may sound a little cliche to you. It may sound a little outdated. It's not really outdated, but so many people are talking about twin flames, and you may just, oh my god, here she goes again. She's also talking about twin flames. Well, I've written a chapter about twin flames in my book, Angel's Wisdom for Your Life, but I don't normally talk about twin flames so much. But right now, I'm being guided to talk to you about it. Yes, twin flame union is going to be a big theme now, especially for conscious travelers, especially for spiritual practitioners and people who may not be who are not consciously in healers or teachers or guides or spiritual practitioners, but are evolved soul. You could be a clerk in an office, and you could still be a very, very evolved soul. So it does not mean that you have to really be a healer, a practicing healer, or a clairvoyant, or have to do tarot readings for you to be an evolved soul, or have to wear saffron to be an evolved soul. Okay, so you could be a bank clerk, you could be an accountant, you could be a financier, an investment banker, and you could still be a very evolved soul. So basically, relationships is a big thing, going to be a big theme after this portal. So whoever is seeking or waiting to be united, so to speak, with their divine masculine and divine feminine aspect, and the twin flame, or to put it simply, with their soulmates, or really have that conscious spiritual kind of a relationship where you're supporting each other, at the same time you're helping each other evolve, and you feel that connection where you feel, my God, we are just one and the same but in different physical bodies. Have you felt that with anyone before? And some of us, or some of the people who may be watching this video, have probably met the twin flames, and there has been a separation because the other twin was not ready. Um, was not ready, right? And it causes a lot of pain and grief for the other twin, who's evolved and is able to see that connect, and is able to see into the future that that two of you have to be together. So it is very likely that the twin's going to come back. All right. And if that twin doesn't come back, has because there's also free will involved, right? So we are not going to mess up with the free will. Even God doesn't interfere in our human free will. That's one of the biggest gifts that has been granted to us by God, our supreme holy father and mother. So if free will is involved and the twin refuses to evolve to that level of consciousness where can merge and really create a twin partnership with the divine feminine and masculine connect, then don't despair. You're going to meet another soul who, with your twin frequency. Okay, so we are not just talking about the I'm talking more in terms of frequency. I'm not talking about the twin flame in that sense, that part of the same soul and this and that. You can read up a lot about that on the internet. Basically, I'm talking about the frequency. Okay, there you are going to meet that person who will be carrying a twin frequency, and there'll be relationships with a lot of age disparities. So for example, a relatively older man may find a relatively younger lady, or a relatively older lady may find a relatively younger man, the divine masculine. And it's just going to be all mixed up, really. um, I think it's the theme is also relationships are not going to have boundaries anymore. So so we'll be really thinking with love. The kind of judgments we've carried forward, or we've held within us in terms of relationships, the kind of criteria that we've always had, due to our social conditioning, our upbringing, those are going to melt away, and they're going to truly bring us in a holy union with the twin. Because though that kind of social conditioning is not going to work for twin partnerships. Okay, So, for example, for girls, we are brought up thinking, oh, I want a guy with a sense of humor, or I want a guy who's in this kind of a job, or whatever, this certain kind of a family, Ivy League, Oxford, Harvard educated. It really depends, whatever your criteria is. Um, you may realize that you actually find someone and feel connected to someone who just doesn't fit that criteria. Those guidelines that you've held so dear, those relationship guidelines that you've held so dear most of your adult life. And it's not that you've not met people who fit into those parameters, but somehow it never worked. They may have seemed very right, but somehow it never worked. And suddenly you'll meet this person who would just not be adhering to any of those guidelines that you've carried within you, but at the same time the connection would be so strong there'll be nowhere to run away. Okay, so relationships are going to be big theme. So carry love. Another guidance that I'm getting, another message that I'm getting from angelic realm, Archangel Haniel and Michael and Uriel, and even some ascended masters are showing up and really asking me to pass this message forward. Hold love, hold love in your heart, and that's going to be the requirement of the day once you go through this portal. And also, it's not just that this portal 8-8 is a significant date because it's like two eights, right? Similarly, 7-7, so 7 July could have been a significant date. So these energy portals are available for us every month and every year. But this particular time is very important because the ascension work has already started happening. The energies have already started happening, pouring through, and now this another window is opening up, and we just have to walk through it. Okay, so that's why this particular date is so important and significant. So what I'm getting guided, okay, Archangel Uriel, Archangel Haniel is stepping forward, and Sandalphon is stepping forward. Archangel Sandalphon is the angel associated with gentleness, kindness, music, creativity, carrying a praise to God. Um, so carry love, carry softness, and be mindful. I spoke briefly about mindfulness. So, be more mindful of your emotions. So, for example, you're feeling anger or resentment, or somehow you're not feeling good about your expectations not being met by the other person, and you're holding on to some kind of anger against them. Take a step forward, go within, see how you're feeling, and is it possible for you to replace that anger with love? Send that person love and gratitude and some love and light energy, or perhaps ask a angelic realm or any other spiritual realm, or if you have a guru or a master, you can pray to the guru or the master to impart wisdom to that person. Is there something else more positive that you can do? So I think that's going to be another big theme for us. Okay, so relationships, yes, and even people who are in marriages. Okay, I'm sorry to say, there'll be because we are talking about twin frequencies, divine masculine and feminine frequencies. I do have to pass this message that some people may be stepping out of their marriages, um, and some people may be rediscovering and how do I say, rejuvenating or re-strengthening their marital bonds upon realizing that, oh my god, I'm already with my twin, I'm already with the divine masculine. But there may be some people who may choose to step out of their marriages, or their long-term unions. Need not be marriage, maybe a long-term relationship that you've been in, which was based on older patterns. Okay, as the consciousness is evolving, as your soul is getting ready for a higher level of existence, that relationship may not serve you. That was perhaps a karmic bond, and you now, maybe the urge has already been there within you to step out of it, but this will be the time when you will be able to take the step forward. So do not despair, do not judge yourself, just hold love in your heart. Make your decision based on love, not fear, not anger, not resentment, not judgment, based on the highest emotion of love and gratitude. And also, uh, remember, social conditioning tells us that certain things are not correct and certain things are not right. Individuality, now we're talking about the Leo power and number 8 and all that, right? So individuality is going to be another theme. So for example, you are you're feeling this urge to make some difficult decisions. So you have to realize that you know, you have to realize that you have to make decisions based on your soul journey. Sometimes people come into our lives because they are karmically connected to us. And when that karma is over, it's time for us to sometimes part ways. It may happen in friendships, it may happen in close romantic relationships, it may happen in marital bonds. I'm not propagating divorce, I'm not propagating giving heartburn or heartbreaks to your partners. What I'm saying, what I'm bringing to light and in your awareness is that these kind of changes may happen, okay, because of the theme of what people are going through, because people are now ready to connect with their soul partners, and that's why these changes may happen. And so another theme is going to be individuality and courage. Personal courage is going to show up. You may be forced to take some decisions and act with courage. So, for example, a spiritual practitioner who has shunned limelight, right? A lot of spiritual practitioners, they love to give, they don't like receiving, and they don't, some of them are too shy, they like to hide in one corner, they do not want too much limelight, they do not want too many people, sometimes they even don't want too many clients coming in. So this is a time when you will find that inner courage, when you will not shy away from light, and you will be ready to shine, not shy, not be shy, but shine your light into the world, okay? So personal courage, and also because you're going to be guided to make some decisions, perhaps moving may come show up for some people, moving within cities, maybe moving from one apartment to another, moving across cities, moving across countries. In a country like India, it could be moving regionally, you know, from one state to another. So moving is coming up. So um, even moving from a job, you know, switching jobs, or even take moving, say for example, just taking a break, for a short term break, a hiatus for 5 6 months or 2 3 months, and moving to a more spiritual place for your sadhana, that may come up. And these kind of decisions do require courage, okay? To be able to speak up for yourself requires courage. So courage is going to be a big theme, individuality is going to be a big theme. It's a time to shine a light to the world. So individuality, personal power, integration of personal and divine is going to be a big theme. We are going to suddenly, a lot of us may realize that we are really pure consciousness. Even spiritual practitioners who've been practicing for a while, but they're not feeling that connect, you know, there's still that there's still that ego coming in, and that disconnect sometimes, which happens because of the ego shows up. You will really feel that connect with the divine. The feeling of oneness will you know, seep over you. It will immerse you. You will realize that your physical body is just a tool. It's an act of the ego. but the consciousness within is really merged with the divine, with the whole expanse of the universe, and we are really one with all, uh, with each and every bit, with each and every particle, sentient and non-sentient beings. This feeling of oneness would be so rampant, not during meditative states, not only during meditative states, but even while living and walking and doing your work. So you may realize that this expanse of consciousness may become a part of you, an integral part of you. Okay, so that's another thing which practitioners or people who've been doing the sadhana for a while, uh, who have been at a certain level of evolution, they may experience this more profoundly. So that's there. Now, abundance. I've spoken about relationship. That's going to be a huge, huge theme for most of us, really. And those people who have who are experiencing the twin frequency partner, or the divine masculine or divine feminine turning away, they may find them coming back, because the energies which are affecting us are going to affect them as well. They will find the courage to make those decisions. When love relationships, especially in today's world, can be really chaotic, and they may be very confusing. They may confuse people, and sometimes people just don't know what's happening. It could be very overwhelming as well. And when one partner is not ready, it can cause a lot of pain and discomfort and heartburn and heartbreak. So I know a lot of you and a lot of us have gone through that. So after this portal, rest assured, we are going to meet our twin frequency partners. Okay, either people from the past will show up, a divine masculine who's turned away, or new people with twin frequencies will show up. So another thing which I'm getting messages, but not is the trick for this is not going to be just kind of focus all our attention on that. We have to really embrace the magic of life. We have to keep moving. Once we are in the flow, the synchronicities happen and they flow. So it's not because, oh, I've mentioned this in the video, and we just keep sitting and praying, meditating over the picture of that particular partner, or writing that particular person's name on the piece of paper and just meditating and praying over it. No, it doesn't work like that. We have to embrace our life. We have to embrace the magic that life is going to offer us from now on. And when we are in the flow, we will attract the twin partner, the soulmate energy, the twin frequency partner, because he will be tapping into that fun, light, magical, miraculous, synchronistic, love filled energy. So we have to really be full of fun. Angels' messages, let's have fun, guys. Let's not be so serious. You may be a conscious traveler, you may be a spiritual practitioner, but let's have fun. Let's chill out. Okay, so that's another thing. Um, uh, Really embrace the magic that that life is, and human life is precious. As we all mention this in Buddha, when we are doing a Buddhist practice, we all say human life is the most precious life of all. So let's really embrace the magic. Let's be mindful of our sadhana, of our spiritual practice. Let's be kind and compassionate and act with wisdom and patience. At the same time, have fun, be light-hearted. Most evolved gurus, really high gurus, if you really see them, they're so light-hearted, they're so fun. And when we embrace that, we realize the ego and the spiritual, the divine, they merge, right? So we could be we could be basically on a spiritual path, and we could still be going for a skydiving or a snorkeling course, right? So really embrace life, what life has to offer, what you go dance, learn a new. You don't always have to practice yoga. Go learn salsa. Go Zumba, go pole dancing. It's all the same. It's all part of the same divinity. There's no difference. So be centered in your divinity, in your personal power, in your spirituality, and embrace life, whole of it. Okay? So that's another message that I really wanted to give you, because don't be so serious. Okay? It's not more fun we have, more lightness and more love we attract. Okay, so that's that. And now abundance, that's the message that I really want to leave you all with. Abundance is going to be a big theme. We've talked about relationships, we've talked about personal power, we talked about individuality, courage, and shining a light. Abundance, 8, number 8 is also associated with abundance. Leo sign is associated with personal power. Most Leos are very highly successful people. You know, if you really look at the track records of Leos, they excel in their fields. And number 8 is also bringing in energies of abundance. So, for people again who are healers, spiritual practitioners, who may not be practicing healers but are working in regular jobs, even they tend to attract lack of abundance sometimes, because we have this mindset. Some people may have this mindset that abundance is not good, or money, as in money, uh, is not really good, and it's evil and things like that. So these are all mindsets based on social conditioning and upbringing. So this is a time for us to live in abundance. So people who are practicing healers, they will be able to attract abundance. And but we just have to leave, we have to walk this portal, leaving behind any kind of set beliefs that do not serve our highest and greatest good. Look at it this way: abundance and money is a means for us to do more good in the world, right? And to uh, serve in a better and a higher manner. So, any of you, anyone who's struggling with workshops, who's struggling with courses, clients not showing up, you're going to find a switch, you're going to find a change, and you're going to find new ways, to attract abundance in your life. And that theme is showing up, and I'm being asked to impart this message as well in this video. Another thing is, um, you know, abundance is also not just about money. Abundance is living well. So even when you are meeting up with your friends, even when you have an abundance of relatives, or when you are exchanging, for example, a neighbor invites you for dinner, and that's living in abundance, and you accept it, you accept the invitation graciously, and then you go and have a good time and make a new wonderful friend. That's living in abundance. Okay, so forging new connections, uh, new love-based connection with like-minded people, with your soul family, and going out and just being in the flow of things, that's also abundance. Abundance is not just about attracting a lot of money, it's about living well, living a life of wellness, good health, prosperity, peace, and success in different areas of your life, be it relationships, be it career, uh, be in social interactions. Okay, so that's abundance. So that's going to be manifest now, if it hasn't manifested for someone earlier. So And another thing is, I am also seeing career changes. Again, there's always cycles involved when um, people from totally divergent careers are called to uh, have to answer the call of the spiritual, of the divine. For example, I hold a master's in international relations and was supposed to go for a PhD, and I had a filmmaking production house in Hong Kong. But my call of the divine was so strong at the time, I decided I was made to devote my 100% time to this work. So there are different cycles for different people, and another cycle is showing up for a lot of people who have not answered that call yet, or who were not ready. It's also physical age, it's a question. So more people are going to be called into spiritual work. And at the same time, there's a message for spiritual healers and practitioners. If you're already a practicing healer and a practitioner, but an alternative career is calling you. I don't know, it could be anything. It could be related to a creative industry. It could be like being an author. I mean, that's connected, but maybe picking up a part time job somewhere. If that's calling you for some time, then you may take it up. It's okay. Uh, there's no divergence, so these boundaries, that this duality is going to really end. We will realize that the material and spiritual and physical, it's all the same, it's intervened. And our that's when the true ascension will happen within us, when we are really centered in our divinity, but at the same time we are able to live in this physical world and embrace it. That's when we humans, we will start living from a state of higher consciousness collectively, when we realize it's all one and the same. Okay, so this is the message. It's a rather long message that I wanted to leave you with during this Lionsgate portal. These are the themes, just to kind of recap for you. Relationships, twin flame partnerships manifesting, divine masculine and divine feminine merging. So one partner was going through some kind of upheaval, may turn around. uh, some relationships going through breaks and chaos, or some bonds getting stronger when people realize that they're actually with the twin already. Abundance is another theme. Personal power, personal courage, individuality is another theme. And moving, relocating, could be relocation to another job, to another city, to another country. That's another theme that's showing up. And for those of you who are already going through these kind of changes, like who are sitting on that crux, now's the time when the changes will happen and your life will begin to reintegrate. Okay, so for example, some of you have already put in your papers for the job, have resigned, and now in these coming months or coming weeks, your life will reintegrate. Like, you will find your life calling, you will figure out what is it that you need to do now. Or some of you who are getting out of some marriages or some breakups, you will be able to reintegrate your emotions within and really get out, come out of that grief that you might have gone through, and be ready to move forward with peace and gratitude and forgiveness. Um, so, reintegration will be happening for those of you who have been going through changes during the past 2-3 months. And June and July were very powerful months, anyways. They brought about a lot of changes personally and internally within, for a lot of people. Okay, so that's my message for this Lionsgate portal. Hope you live your life purpose. Wish you a life of abundance, success, wellness, good health, and be the beautiful divine being that you are. I leave you with this message. This is Money Goel. Namaste. Thank you.